So we're going to discuss the answers on these exercises. The Taibbi Industries Incorporation uses a job order cost system. The following data summarize the operations related to production for January 2016, the first month of operations. The instructions here were to journalize the entries, to post the appropriate entries for the accounts for work in process and finished goods, and prepare a schedule for unfinished jobs, and then prepare a schedule for completed jobs. So we're going to answer this one at a time. So in letter A, materials purchased on account amounting to 29,800. So I have already discussed you on how to make a journal entry for the materials that have been received. So we should debit the materials and then credit the accounts payable amounting to 29,800. Letter B, materials requisition and factory labor used. So for the journal entry for this is to debit the work in process amounting to 49,700, and then also debit factory overhead amounting to 5,180, and then materials 27,010, and then wages payable 27,950. In order to get this amount, we should total all the direct materials that have already been issued for production, and then all the direct labor. So this is a total of 25,930, and then 23,850. When we say general factory use, this is what we call the factory overhead. So debit factory overhead 5,180. And then the materials, to get the amount 27,010, we should add all the direct materials, including the factory labor, factory overhead, and also for the wages payable, this one. Letter C, factory overhead cost incurred on account $5,500. So the journal entry for this is factory overhead debit and then accounts payable credit. Depreciation of machinery and equipment, we have to debit the factory overhead amounting to 1,980, and then debit the accumulated depreciation on machinery and equipment. So the factory overhead rate is $54 per machine hour, and machine hours used. For job 301, we have 25, 302, 36, 303, 30, and so on. And the total machine hours is 228. So the journal entry for this is work in process debit and then credit factory overhead. To get this amount, we just have to multiply all the total machine hours times the rate, which is 54. So the answer for this is 12,312. And the letter F, jobs completed 301, 302, 303, and 305. Since the job is already completed, we have to debit finished goods amounting to 34,804 and then credit work in process. So how did we come up with this amount? So before I answered this problem, I already computed on all the jobs for the job 301, 302, 303, 304, and up to 306. Their materials, their labor, respective materials, labor, and then already computed their machine hours, which is for the job 301, we have 25 times 54, and then for 302, 36, and 54. So we get a total of 7,085 for job 301. For 302, 9,314, and so on. So since job 301, 302, 303, and 305 already completed. So we get the total for the job 301, the 302, the 303, and the 305. So that would total to 34,804. Letter G, jobs were shipped and customers will billed as follows. For job 301, it would be $825. For job 302, $11,200. And job 303, $15,000. So this is the journal entry. Accounts receivable, 34,450 debit. And then we have to credit the sales, 34,450. To get the amount, you just have to add this one and this one to get the 34,450. And then the cost of goods sold, we have to debit the cost of goods sold and then credit finished goods, amounting to 22,294. So how did we come up with this again? By the use of our computations. So only job 301, 302, and 303 were sold. So a total of 7,085, 3,000, 9,314, and 5,895 only. So a total of 22,294. Post the appropriate entries for the accounts for work in process and finished goods. So if you have taken down notes on the journal entries that we have made on the previous number, then it will serve as a basis on how we come up to the accounts. So this is the accounts for the work in process and the accounts for the finished goods. Since on the previous letter B, we have debited work in process, then we should put here for in the debit side. And then we have also debited on letter E, the work in process. And then on letter F, we have credited the work in process. So to get the balance, we have to add this one. And then we have to subtract it on the credit side. So we'll get 27,288. And same with the finished goods. On letter F, we have credited finished goods amounting to 34,804. And then we have credited finished goods amounting to 22,294. So when we subtract this one, when we subtract debit to credit, we will get the balance of 12,510. Prepare a schedule for unfinished jobs to support the balance in the work in process. So what I have remembered, only job 304 and 306 are unfinished jobs. So these are the schedule for unfinished jobs. You just get the direct materials, the direct labor, and the factory overhead. So just add the direct materials for 304 and 306, also for the direct labor and the factory overhead. And then prepare a schedule of completed jobs on hand to support the balance in the finished goods account. Since jobs 301, 302, 303, and 305 were finished jobs, but only job 305 has not yet been sold, so only the job 305s are considered complete jobs. So this is the direct materials, the direct labor, and the factory overhead. So this is the schedule for the completed jobs. Thank you.